Is this the first time this is being done, this grant through this?
Yes, it's actually the first time, the first grant that this office, that office has handled, so yeah, it took a while.
Okay. So it's a one-time
Yes.
and done, and we're updated. Okay, thank you.
Well, you know, unless they change their minds again, you know how that is.
Teresa, did you have any questions? Graham?
No, Barbara explained it to me. But yeah, I'd like to give her a copy.
Very good.
Mhm.
I think it'd be worthwhile.
Mhm. I'll make a motion to approve the W.T.H. grant.
We have a motion and a second to approve the W.T.H. grant for 911 updates. Any discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
3-0. Thank you.
Usually at the end, but if you need it now so you can go. You want to do it now, Don?
Yes, might as well.
Okay.
Sure. Please. Pass it. Who? Next on our agenda is Jackie Frame.
Oh, nice and tall. Teresa?
I did.
Okay. Each year when we apply for the Department of Transport INDOT grant through CURPC, we applied to CURPC. CURPC applies for the grant. We cannot be the grant recipient. There's only so many areas designated in the state. And CURPC represents all four of the rural counties, Pulaski, Stark, Jasper, and Newton. And some of you who are on the CURPC board, this got added a couple of years ago, and it was, INDOT was told that counties had to say, yes, CURPC is the applicant for the rural public 5311. So it's that time of year again, our grant students.
What is
And
the dollar amount of the grant?
we don't know. We submitted our budget. Our budget was, wrote it. Our total budget was like $301,000, and then they have to subtract out how much fare box we think we're going to get, how much funds we get from local dollars. That's the county. Title III grant for aging, the Head Start grant for transportation, and anyone else who contracts with us. And usually our share is around $137,000 to $140,000. This year, when I did the math, it came out 150. But that's if we get enough local money in, because we can only get it's proportion to how much local cash you can get in. So Lynette does a really good job of working with us on our budget and make sure that it's as accurate as possible when she submits it. And Percy does a really good job managing. So we have to have the resolution by our commissioners saying that they are allowed to apply for those funds on behalf of our agency.
Good.
The formality, but you know, it's good because it calls attention to the commissioners and, you know, and then when I come back and tell you how much money I need, you have some idea. So.
Good. So I would make a motion to approve the INDOT transportation grant presented. Any discussion? Motion is second to approve the INDOT transportation grant to proceed. Being no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Those opposed? 3-0. Thank you.
I wanted to add one last thing. The 2 new vehicles that we received that have the convertible seats from the child harnesses to the adult seat have been extremely cost effective because we can get adults and children on the vehicle instead of the Head Start buses that really only fit children. And the funding, the way it is, we did not ask for one for next year, but the year after, if we can end up with 3 of those, then our plan is to better serve all of the new preschools and daycares that are opening up throughout the county. So they have been a godsend, and we appreciate the funding that the county put.
Thank you. Next on our agenda, Mike McClure asked to talk about county engineering. County engineer that was brought to us at the joint session.
I'd just like to see the visibility of having the county engineer worthwhile, or for the council to make that position. Council.
Be a benefit for the county, I think, in the long run. Jacob, you look into codes for county engineer. I think it's a little bit different than other positions. Okay.
Just the reasoning for the county engineer at this point. I mean, are there projects or reasons that we need another engineer besides what we have? And I know we've discussed VS, and I know Gary has use as well of a consultant engineer, correct, Gary? Okay. So is there a certain purpose that the county feels like they need another engineer? I mean, what I heard, Mike, and correct me if I'm wrong, well, you weren't the one, but Mike T.D. had mentioned that it was a grant, correct? Am I right?
Well, that's what we need to look into. I know the surveyor. Ditches. All the time. 40 hours.
Okay. I just haven't heard anybody come to the council or to the commissioners asking for an engineer. So I would prefer not to create a position where a position isn't necessary. Right. Okay. And I would be, I mean, if it's a fully funded grant, I don't have any objections to that, but grants run out and then the county is responsible to pick up the tab for those things in many situations. I just, with the state of the county right now, don't want to see us putting the county in a greater financial burden if it's not necessary, but.
I would agree with that. I think that my interpretation was grants, plural, just not one grant. Pay for it. So different projects built in for a grant writer, engineer, part of that. My interpretation is, as well as the engineer could write grants, burden away. Others were paying some. I think that Jacob looks into it because of the codes and further. That's fine.
Right. Okay.
If you could do that and get us back with us, board meeting. Anything else? Jenny, road use decommissioning bonds agreements?
Yeah, I was fortunate to have attended last week ago today, I believe it was, a Stark County meeting with, it was a joint session with commissioners and county council. And I was just a little concerned with what I was hearing. I had heard a little bit before the meeting, which is why I attended. But it has to do with road use and taking care of the roads when these commercial solar projects and any other renewable energy project comes up. And Stark County kind of found themselves in a tricky position. And I know as commissioners, one thing we want to make sure is that when these projects are completed, that we have roads that are as good as they were prior. And what I'm learning about these road use agreements is that they're not as easy to understand as what we may think from the beginning. So Stark County had themselves in a position where they had 16 miles of road that needed repaired. And there's a discrepancy, seems to be a discrepancy between what we as the public may understand of road use agreements and repairs and what actually is happening. So Gary, you can talk maybe a little bit about PASER ratings, but Gary, if I mess up, you can tell me, okay? So prior to these projects beginning, the roads are given ratings between 1 and 10, 1 being the worst condition, 10 being the best condition. And throughout the construction of these projects, the roads, of course, may become damaged. And a road that was maybe a 5 may be taken down to a 2 at the end of the construction. And what Stark County learned the hard way is that through their agreement, the solar developer is not responsible to bring that road back to good condition. They're only required to bring it back to where it was prior. And according to discussions I've had with Gary and another from Stark County, it's very difficult to take a terrible road and make it a less terrible road. But the solar developers are only responsible to make it a less terrible road or back to where it was in the beginning, which means through the construction or through the repair that the solar developer is only going to pay to get it back to a 4. I'm just using these numbers randomly, but because it's difficult to do that, the county would have to pick up the tab for the improvement to bring that road back to an 8 or 9, where it would be a good, decent road. You can't just, does this make sense? I hope this makes sense. In the end, what Stark County did, and there are several people here, and Mr. Baptiste, I'm going to let you address this as well if you would like to. If I say something incorrectly, please feel free because you're probably the best person to speak on this. But Mammoth Solar was responsible out of their pocket, I believe, to pay $200,000 of the 16 miles of road repair that needed to be done. There was also a grant that was given by the IEDC. I'm not sure if that grant went directly to Mammoth Solar or if that grant went to the county. I'm assuming it went to Mammoth Solar, but I wouldn't say that 100%. There was discussion, should this grant of $1.25 million given by the IEDC, taxpayer money, folks, which is this is what bothers me, this is taxpayer money. So these developers come in, they do their work, they put these projects in, and in the end, we as taxpayers are paying for a lot of the repairs to the roads. There was discussion that should part of that money maybe go to Pulaski County or split it between Pulaski and Stark. And I believe they just agreed, no, this money is going to go, the 1.25, 1.22, somewhere in there, will all go to Stark County. My concern as a commissioner, of course, is when these projects are done, where does that leave us in Pulaski County with our roads, and how much of the repair is going to be Pulaski County's bill to foot? I'm concerned here. So when we, I guess, looking forward, when we talk about the windfall of money that the county may get from year to year from industrial commercial solar, we need to be thinking seriously, and I hope I have some county council people out there, about where this money goes first. Because from what I am learning, the county may need to find the money to make some repairs to these roads. I am hopeful that doesn't happen, but experience is a good teacher. So I think we need to prepare ourselves for what we're going to be looking at down the road, because we do have 4 developers coming in. Now, I was pleased, and Don, you went as well today over to Jasper County. We traveled on some really good roads. There were some really good roads, and they had a whole lot of commercial solar, but there were a lot of paved roads over in Jasper County. So I think we need to look at our road use agreements, and if it's too late with one developer, I think we need to be very careful to make sure that we are understanding the loopholes where the county is going to be left holding the tab for some of these developments that are coming into the county. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Interestingly, with the IEDC currently going through some audits and some investigations, I don't know if that money has already been awarded. Mr. Baptista, do you know? Have you guys already received money? Okay. So, and from what I understand, the IEDC has frozen some accounts at the state level. So I don't know if that money is going to be there, even that 1.25 or 1.2, but this is something Pulaski County needs to seriously look at when these payments start to come in. The people living in and around these projects did not ask for their roads to be ruined, nor did they ask to pick up the tab for those people who decided to put their ground into commercial solar. I don't want my road ruined. I know many other people don't either, but nor do I want to pay for it because I didn't ask for this. So I think we need to be seriously considering that. Let me see. So I guess one question, and Jacob, either you or Gary, you might be able to answer. In our road use agreement, does it say restore to a 10, or does it say repair the damage you made?
It basically says on the Pacer rating, to bring it above, back to where it was or better than what the Pacer. And there's variances in these Pacer ratings on the technology on big roads. So
Okay.
variances out there.
Okay.
One Pacer might show it a 3 and another Pacer might show it a 5. There's a big difference there.
Absolutely. Okay. The only other thing I wanted to address with this, because we can talk, and I'm not going to talk about decommissioning bonds tonight, but there are bonds set aside for these. And I know, Gary, in our conversations, you've said we've got a $25 million bond. Stark County had, Mr. Baptista, can you help me? Okay. I thought I heard the Stark County had 3 million, and for whatever reason, that bond was not touched. That's concerning to me. So, okay, which is a good point, Mr. Baptiste, and I appreciate that, because I know the conversation has been had before that, well, they're going to come in, they're going to destroy these roads, not just, not just your company, but these 4 developers, they're all going to come in, they're going to destroy the roads. We're not going to worry about them until it's done. And then when it's done, we're going to put them all back together. Warning Pulaski County, we better be having these developers repair these roads as they go along. Because in the end, there may not be much there to repair the roads. And that bond may not be what we currently think it is. So I think we need to be holding these developers accountable every step of the way. If the road is damaged, it needs repaired now, not at the end of the project, because it's too easy at the end of the project to walk away and leave the damage and leave the county holding the tab. So that's just my input. I'm concerned for taxpayers. I don't want it to be my responsibility to repair these roads at the end of this, and I don't want it to be the responsibility of Pulaski County and Indiana taxpayers. So that's really all I have. Do you have any concerns on that, Don? Mike?
Gary, put you on the spot. I think we've talked about this. All the PACER ratings have been completed, haven't they? Or I should say all of them where it is now.
Well, it was completed by the developer. Developer done the phaser rating and the culvert study. We did, as far as the county, go out and address some of the culverts way back, like in 2023, when the first road use agreements were signed. I think that was in 22. We got the notification of roads. We looked at some of the culverts and roads in, but now we're in 2025. So there is some discrepancy on the payroll. It's new on AI technology. I've been looking at Violetics for the county so that we can actually go out and rate every road we have. And that way we're all on the same page. There'd be no difference between the discrepancies. So what Mammoth or Ed has used, I do not recall what it was done, but we did get the raters up. Angio, and I'm not for sure on it, but there was a few discrepancies on a road that we originally just had done last year. And the phaser was a 5, but it should not have been a 5 on revenue road last year. So there's some discrepancies. And at the end of the project, they're supposed to be, phaser or bring the roads up to at least what they was or better. What I believe Stark counties or Jasper counties are saying here, those roads was a little bit lower quality asphalt, but it probably run $140,000 a mile, roughly, or $150,000 a mile, real close to that, to bring them up to the roads that Don drove and that we drove.
So it's a good idea then, moving forward, to make sure that the county does their own PASER rating or their own something, so that when we get to the end, this discrepancy can be minimized, so that the county is not, does that make sense?
Well, yes, I mean, we would, and that's where I've not opened up for or got on the agenda as far as the Violetics, the AI technology, to where we would purchase it at County Highway, and I think it was $60,000 for the 2-year time frame, and we go out and rate the roads. It does all the data for us on our pavers in order for us to submit our asset management plan to get community crossing grants. So it's something that we have been looking at for 6 months. We just have not made
Right.
an initial step to move forward.
Okay, there's a lot of discrepancy between Stark County and Jasper County, and I think we need to be doing our due diligence as Pulaski County to make sure we're on the Jasper County end of roads, making sure that we end up with good roads here in Pulaski County. So just something to think about.
White County.
Right, they've got a lot of good,
They
Yeah.
got a gold plate plan.
and Gary, didn't you ask for that gold plate plan?
I mean, it took them a while. At first you thought, gee whiz.
Well, that's the grinding stabilization that people don't understand. When you go and grind the road, you're adding concrete, they run the roads are terrible. Why they're doing
Yeah,
construction.
but-
At the end of the project,
Mhm.
anybody that wants to drive South Park County line between right at 1100 West, drive it.
You're going to drive,
About $330,000 a mile by the time you grind it and put a brand new hot mix on top of it.
it's a road you look down, you're running 70 miles an hour instead of 50.
Gary, you said you asked for that. Do you mind if I ask why we didn't get that?
There was renegotiating and things, so we didn't come to all those full terms. So I'm just hoping we get just as good, if not better roads than what we have now. Because we do have good roads in Pulaski County.
Yes, we do. Okay.
That
Okay.
would be the expectation. Gary, someone explained to me that a 10 is like a racetrack, right?
Basically, a 10 can only be a hot mix road, which would be a hot mix one that he was on today, or that she was on, I don't think it can be a 10 because it does not have high surface. Like our roads that we do with our blade mix, which is on our road use, that I had that priced out, it was $130,000 a mile to have a company come in and do a 4-layer blade mix, which that's what we do here at the county highway. That's the way we built the roads, Jenny. That was a 2016 grant that we've done all the way from 39 to 35, 200 north. We applied for that. It was a 50-50 grant. We paid 50% of it to
Right.
do that road.
Right.
So,
Okay.
but that was back when I got that quote to do a mile of road. It was 130,000, and that is in the road use, 130,000.
Right.
The 330,000 that's in there for a hot mix was the hot mix. Now you can go, it can only be a 10 for 1 year, and then it drops down.
Right.
And ours, the blade mix, the way we do it, can only be a 9. It cannot be a 10.
Okay.
Then it has to drop down.
The other thing I just recalled, what I heard in Stark County was for material only. So there was another, if I recall, $1.5 million in labor. They talked about contracting that labor out to repair these roads. They decided not to, and I think it's honestly because they weren't going to come up with the money to do it. So that is falling back on the county, on Stark County as well, to repair those roads. And there was a great deal of discussion about how do we repair all of these roads and at the same time do our regularly scheduled repairs. So I think the county's eating the labor costs to repair all these roads. That's a concern to me as well. I'm not going to stake my life on that, but that's what I recall from that conversation, that they were only discussing the material to fix the road, not the actual labor. If anybody knows differently, speak now or forever hold your peace. If anybody has any more accurate information, but that's what I recall. And those numbers are alarming when we're looking at the economic development payments that we're going to receive. The first several years could be eaten up with road repair. And I would hope that the county would reserve that money to fix the roads when all of this is done, rather than start throwing money at other quality of life projects or whatever in the county. We need to get our county back to where it was before we move on and do anything else with that money. So, thank you. That's all I have, Don.
Thank you. All right, other business, approve and sign. First of all, we have claims and payroll number 9. We have a motion to accept the claims and payroll number 9.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve claims and payroll number 9. Is there any discussion, questions? Being none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Yo. We also were presented the minutes from April 21st, 2025 regular session.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from April 21st.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from April the 21st, 2025 regular session. Any discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Position, bond, and rider. Teresa?
Okay, so it had come to our attention, we have a rider, a blanket bond for the public employees. And when they sent it to us and signed, it was the, they had put the chief deputy coroner, and that's not what she's considered. She's considered the first deputy coroner, kind of a legality thing. So we needed to have a new one of these bonds filed for the commissioners to sign. So it's just to correct the name, to go from chief deputy to first deputy coroner.
Make a motion to approve the updated bond. Make the correction.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed. We have no conference request. Discussion, new Indiana code regarding transmission of meetings. A few years ago, there was House Bill 1167 that required that our meetings be live streamed or recorded and made available. We do live stream and they are available for several years. So Nathan's went through that with us and other people have led that charge. And from our understanding, we are in compliance with that by the law. Ordinance for regulating the use of county vehicles. I believe this is actually for ROVs and golf carts. Mike had brought this up a few months ago, and Fred, Chris have worked on this, and Jacob, our county attorney, to allow citizens to get a tag and drive them around the county. And that would also regulate manufacturing and agriculture as well.
I'm just briefly going to explain our position. My chief deputy, Fred, has done 99% of the work on this. Jacob wrote the ordinance for it. Had a lot of discussion here over the last couple weeks on these ORVs. Here's the ORV for the sheriff's department. I want to make a comment, so can't hear me? He's holding his ears up. We will pick the color every year. It'll go from January 1st to December 31st. It's a $25 fee. This year, you're going to kind of get shortchanged because we're still going to charge $25. It charges $1 to do each tag. So $24 goes to the county, or how's it going to go? There you go. We're going to publish this if the commissioners approve it online, so you know the rules. We will inspect these. I'm going to read this part of it because it's extremely important that people know that you cannot just get something that's used for trails and take it on the road. You're going to have to be 16 years old. This is the highlight for me. Equipped with a manufacturer's serial number plate, rearview mirror, headlights, taillights, brake lights, turn signals, front and rear reflectors, and a horn. And you cannot ride these in the towns. For instance, Winnemac. If you have a tag on there, well, I've got a county tag. You can't ride that in the town of Winnemac. We clear on that? Town of Winnemac does not allow four-wheelers. They allow golf carts. They don't allow four-wheelers. In the last week, I've seen 6 or 8 golf carts in the county. I didn't stop them because I knew this was coming. You got a farmer driving from across the road to his barn across the road. Okay, he's violating, but really, this is going to alleviate that. Okay? These solar people, they're going to have these. They're going to have a registration. They're going to have all this. You can't have a 10-year-old riding these. You can't have 15 people on here. It's going to be whatever the manufacturer says. These limits are going to be on there. If they say that seats 4, you're going to have 4 on there. Okay? Am I taking your thunder away, Fred? If there's a baby on there, is there an age limit on here too? I'm taking a lot of your stuff. Go ahead and step up here. I just wanted to say, you cannot ride these in the towns, like Francisville. You cannot ride these in Francisville if they have an ordinance against it. A golf cart you can, these you can't. You have to have one of these stickers. We'll get these out tomorrow, I think. Go ahead, Fred.
The only stipulation referring to golf, so it's off-road vehicles and county, on county roads. You can't ride on the state highway, get through. However, if you have a ORV permit for here and you have a golf cart permit for Winnemac, you can then operate it in that town. As long as it's not superseding state law to allow us to use our county roads. Hit on everything. There is a $200 fine by driving the off-road vehicles on county roads permit. You have to advertise it before we start enforcing that. So once that enforcement takes place, we can write citations for that.
In the past, there's only been 2 counties in the state of Indiana that was for ag construction, and solar. It was us in Floyd County. This changes that. You can ride an ORV or a golf cart if the commissioners decide to pass this, and they've all had a copy of this. They've all reviewed this. No 10-year-olds. Am I clear on that? No 10-year-olds can be driving these ORVs. You can't get something off the trails and ride it on the road. This doesn't cover that. It doesn't have taillights, doesn't have headlights. We're going to be doing a lot of inspections. These things are going to have to be roadworthy to get one of these stickers, or we're going to deny you. And I'm going to start looking. Go ahead.
So they'll also have this, the ordinance indicate that they'll have to follow all traffic laws.
Yes, and insurance. And insurance. Get online and look at this. This is going to be in the county online. Go ahead, Amy. Jamie.
I'm concerned with, what about the average ones? So ones that go 26 miles an hour or less?
You can use them. You have a golf cart that goes 15 mile an hour, you can use it.
So it doesn't matter what it is, it's off-road vehicle.
Correct, it has to be permitted.
Yes, and we're going to come out and inspect them. We're going to be busy for a few weeks. You know, that's why you pay your taxes. We're going to be busy. Either bring them up on a trailer, we'll inspect them, or we'll come to you. We'll get them done. Yes. Valid driver's license. No 10-year-olds, no 11-year-olds, no 15-year-olds. Has to have a valid driver's license. Don't be driving these in the towns. I can't express that enough. It's not going to cover you. It's not going to cover you driving in the town of Winnemac. Okay? Commissioners?
Did you look at 4A and C, read that, and explain how that affects farm vehicles and construction, mining, other industrial-related vehicle use. Page 1, page 2.
A multi-vehicle wheeled and low-pressure vehicle, is that what you're talking about, Don?
It's just describing state law. Farm vehicle being used for farming, including, but not limited to a farm wagon as defined in the code. So you still have to have that.
Yes.
So farming still has to have a permit, construction still has to have a permit.
Yes.
Going on with this,
And one thing I did notice that was kind of somewhat conflicting, but just to be clear, in the place and time of operation, I know they require headlights, but they're actually not supposed to be out after dark.
Yes.
So,
where's,
It's in, he wrote that in the ordinance, Aaron.
page 2,
Okay.
the place and time of operation, it's from sunrise to sunset.
sunset?
So I mean, I realize that during sunset hours, it's probably good to have headlights on because it still becomes dark.
Continuing with 4.
You want to change that, now would be the time to do that if you want to change that, but I wouldn't. Because you're going to have people at 2 o'clock in the morning out riding these things, and I wouldn't suggest that.
Don't you have to have the headlights on all the time?
Yes.
Still
I did, and I want to say, I didn't tell you all the rules. I only just hit on a couple high points. Get online and look at these, because there's a lot of requirements for these, okay?
Right.
I want to tell that. I didn't say all the rules. Don't say that I only said a couple. Here's all the rules. There's 5 pages of them. So,
So, just from my understanding, snowmobile, yes or no?
It's not for the people, it's defined.
Registered aircraft,
It's defined in here.
okay? An electric bicycle,
Yeah, it's, Indiana code is defined in here, and it's,
Okay.
it's because it's an off-road vehicle.
okay?
So they can get a permit for that, but it has to meet the criteria of 913.2,
Uh-huh,
49.2. As long as it meets that criteria, it's used.
okay. The people that come and use our trail, the trail going to Logansport, they would have to have this type.
Falls under that statute, I would say yes.
Okay,
But you're not supposed to have motorized.
correct. But bicycles with motors becoming more and more popular. Not anymore.
and we won't get all these inspections done in a day or two. Give us a little bit of time, and these colors will change every year. We will decide the color, so it's a prominent color, so, okay?
Okay. Jenny, any questions? Mike, comments?
No,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Needed.
yes. Can't ride your four-wheeler. Yes. Yeah, you can ride your golf cart from in town, yeah, but you just can't ride a four-wheeler because you're covered. Yeah, it should have been If you want to ride your golf cart from where I live into town, don't ride it on the highways, okay? This doesn't allow you to ride them on the highways. I should have said that. You can cross a highway. Everybody see me drive my gym. I never drive it on the highway. Next to it, you can cross perpendicular. You can't ride it on the highway. This doesn't allow you to ride it on the highway, okay? Clear? This doesn't allow you to ride it on the highway. We don't govern the state highways. So if you want to drive your golf cart into town, you're covered by the town. Judy, you're probably involved in that ordinance, weren't you? You can ride it in and eat dinner. Yep. Yep. They don't want people ripping the town up. I mean, I know. I mean, they don't want people riding through town on the four-wheelers and the side-by-sides. And so, yeah, you still have to obey all the laws too.
So,
That's how it is in the states up north. You can ride across the highway, but you can't ride.
Cross it. Cross it. I can't be clear enough. You can't ride it down the highway. Yes.
people would need a state sticker
Yes.
and a county sticker.
Yes.
And if you were in Madeiraville, Francisville, or Winnemac, you would also have to have a town.
If they require that, I know Winnemac does, but
Pardon?
yes.
For a golf cart.
I think Francisville requires it to anybody from Francis.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Golf cart,
Yeah.
not ORVs.
Okay.
Yeah, we're.
Can't believe I've covered all the questions.
There will be
Oh.
more.
So if,
There's always more.
Come to the jail. There's going to be a paper, golf cart registration paper. We're going to keep them on file. We will collect the money, and like Fred said, we'll keep it, put it in the accident fund. Accident fund. Everyone will be registered right here. We'll go out and do the inspection. Do what?
Download that online and print it off as well. You'll fill out prior to asking you to come check
Yes,
them
we'll
out.
have it with the ordinance once we get it adopted, then this will be attached to the
Okay,
ordinance. so we can do that.
If you have a golf cart or side by side you want done faster, bring it up. If I'm there, I'll do it for you right there.
It'd be very similar to the Finch Act.
That's what it's going to be. Yep. Give us time to get your house or bring it to me and I'll get it done. Okay?
so after, if we approve this evening, then it has to be advertised for how long? And then after it's been advertised twice in the newspaper, then the ordinance would go into effect then.
But you're going to give some grace period, right, for people to come in and get these stickers, right? Give us time to get these stickers issued.
Yeah, I think it would.
Yeah, that's our grace period.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it'd be sometime in June.
Okay.
Very good. Any questions, more questions?
What ordinance number is it?
Jacob had a good point by July 1.
July 1? Okay,
July
I'll
1.
make a motion to approve the ORV sticker voted by the county sheriff's.
I'll second the motion.
we have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 2025-10, an ordinance regulating the use of county vehicles, the ORVs and golf carts. Is there any further discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye. Those opposed? I'd like to thank Chris, Fred, Jacob for your work on this. Greatly appreciate it. Mike brought it up several months.
I want to also add that when you want to get these, come there Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, unless you catch me on a Saturday because the secretary is going to have the receipt book. I can come to your place after hours, but don't ask dispatch. They won't have the information. So, right, Angie? 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, unless you made prior arrangements, okay?
And what we said that this would go in effect July the 1st, 2025.
Yeah, we'll have everything by then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have VS updates. Whoa.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How's everyone doing? So I'm going to be flipping back and forth just to address some items that were brought up earlier, so we are all on the same page. So in terms of road repairs has actually begun underway on County Road 800 and sections of 600. The developer has brought in Town and Country, and they are working on repairing those roads. I know they're going to be grinding and stabilizing 600, so that's going to be in a better condition than what it was prior to start of construction. So the intent was going to be to continue that. Now, at the end of the project, if the Payzer rating is above or at what it was prior, nothing else will be done. If it's below what that Payzer rating is, they will come out and make the necessary improvements to bring it to or above that Payzer.
Is that 600
600
west and south?
Correct.
Tim, was there a reason that was closed today? Or one of the roads was closed?
800 was closed.
800 was closed?
Yep, it's because they're doing the road repairs.
Okay.
So the proper closure procedure was done last week, and that gave them
Gotcha.
authorization to move forward with it.
Okay.
Okay. A few other things I want to address. So as we do our inspection, we do note when there are issues, when potholes are starting to develop, silt fences going down to help prevent erosion control measures. So those repairs that we bring up, we meet on every Wednesday, those are getting addressed very timely and continue to improve. We've got a repair log that we share, and so we work at improving those. And so sometimes you'll see Town and Country making the repairs, sometimes the developer themselves will be out there grinding the road, or not grinding the roads. Where'd it go? Sorry. They're grading. Thank you. I see them. I have got terrible handwriting. If anyone's ever read a message from me, I really apologize now. Another thing that they've been doing is they've been sweeping the roads. So you will notice, and I will guarantee we will get calls tomorrow about some mud and dirt that are on the roads. They are well aware of it, and they're going to be sweeping those roads. Now, that's going to create some dust, but that's going to be the only way to get the roads clean. What happens is you get rain like over this weekend and today, they're driving in and out and the dirt tracks start to appear. So our inspector out there today has already seen the sweepers out there. And so they are working at getting those roads back to a normal driving condition. A few other things I want to address is they have fired a handful of drivers already off of this due to not following the road use or the designated roads or various other reasons, whether that's breaking the law or doing anything. The developer's taking this project very serious and they want to show the best effort moving forward with the county. And so as they see any violations from drivers, they're getting kicked off this project. Another thing that they have been doing and getting really good at is the communication process. So early on, we were not getting look-aheads. That has improved dramatically, and that's helped us schedule our inspector accordingly. So when we go out there, we know what we're looking for. And if we see something that's not being addressed or things that they should have been addressing, we can call that out more efficiently. As well as, on that note, pilings have begun, and that's where they're taking the beams and are pushing them into the ground. So it's a very loud operation that we've discussed prior, and they've verbally agreed that they are only going to be doing business during working hours up to 5. Sometimes it will go past 5, but they don't want it going past 7.
What about weekends? Are they still doing this on Saturdays and Sundays?
I need to confirm that. I'm not positive of that.
Okay.
I don't
Thank you.
redact that from the record.
One meeting we attended, and they said they weren't working on Sunday.
Correct. So I know not Sundays, but Saturdays, they may be out there doing this, but I will confirm.
They were working on Saturday.
But I don't know if they're piling the piles in Saturday. That's what I'll confirm. Something else, so we have issued 1 breach already of the contract. 2 of them, technically. The first was in violation of starting work prior to the road maps being approved, which we halted them and stopped that. The second one was using bad roads and then not having proper signage This next one that is in draft status, pending our review, is in terms of not using the proper roads. We have a third one that we are drafting, my crew's drafting, and that is in regards to wrong roads again. So something that we have done to help capture some of this, we can only be out there so many days a week. We only get so many emails with photo evidence. We have installed trail cams at 3 locations. We're going to be installing 2 more at other locations. And so those are recording any movement that's passing it. So we've put it on routes that should only have trucks going one way or no trucks whatsoever. And so we are physically going through every time there's movement. Now, these are trail cams, so they're intended to track movement of animals. So we are getting a lot of bunny rabbits and squirrel movement on these. So my crew's very diligently going through all the footage on a weekly basis. And from there, we move forward with the breaches accordingly.
What did you, what are the trail cams hooked to?
So they are mounted to either county-owned signs or trees within the county right-of-way. If they are on a private residence property, we have verified with that residence in writing that we're able to be on their property.
Thank you.
Another thing, so I mentioned the fines earlier. We are working with the treasurer as well as the developer to get those fines issued. There seems to be a disconnect on getting the bills paid, so we're working together on that.
Excuse me, Tim.
Yeah.
Bills paid, the bills to BS or?
This is I was mentioning the developer to county for the breach.
Thank you.
In the terms for bills to county to VS, I know we exchanged emails earlier today. And so if you need anything else from me, let me know. I'm happy to share with you any reports that we have. Something else that we've had lots of comments on is dust control. And I'm going to tip my hat to the developer on this because every time we've called them, text them with dust control issues, they are on site very regularly. They're taking this matter extremely serious. It started with a few trucks and they've increased that fleet of the dust control vehicles to really control it, to help monitor as well as prevent dust measures. Working with Gary, he's approved them to use a certain chemical. I don't know. Okay. But anyways, he's reviewed it and he's approved it. So there's going to be special chemical applied in front of residents' houses to help ensure the dust continually stays controlled.
And in regards to that, Tim, the county does still do dust control, which we will be starting out like another week or so. We still go ahead and do our normal dust control of every house that we have done in the past, whether it's on the soil road. It could be a double application, but all the homeowners that live on gravel road will still get dust control from the county.
So something I want to discuss openly with everyone is speeding. So something that the developer has brought up is the open to revising the RUA. I don't know if that's going to capture and rectify the speeding issue. The speeding issue is that the speed limit is 55 miles an hour out there. And the trucks are going, we're not clocking the trucks, but when I physically am standing next to the roadway and someone goes 55 miles per hour past me, it seems fast. So with that said, the developer is open to revising the RUA to reduce that speed limit. Something else the county could do is put together an ordinance and revise it for all drivers on these roads, which would be enforceable by the county. Doing it through the RUA is very challenging to enforce as we are only out there a small window, as well as to provide the video evidence. We would physically have to hold the speed gun and a photo to capture the truck and the speed camera, illustrating that. And that's, again, only when we're out there on a select number of roads. So something I would like the county to discuss and see if there's other alternatives.
Rather than have project trucks limited at 45 or something, and regular county typical traffic would be at 55. You're saying that would be difficult to regulate through an RUA?
You brought up a good point, because if you put truck, like similar on the highway, you have the truck speeds this, all other traffic this, and that may only, I don't know what the state code is on what that differential needs to be between the two. That could be an option. I don't know those, I don't know the requirements of
Signs too.
the two
Be a lot
different,
of signs.
Be a lot of signs.
so.
It's not gonna hurt, first, it's not gonna hurt anything if we put it in the RUA.
Correct,
It's, at least it's there,
correct.
that. We make a county ordinance for this. I'd like to know the sheriff's department's stance on an ordinance to lower the speed limit on county roads. And if we adopted that, would we make it just for particular trucks? And Tim was going to look into that, and maybe Jacob as well, for different speed limits.
I think that'd be discrimination. I think we could but lower the solar road by 40 hours. Everybody. Because I drive a school bus. I always beat motorcycle or 18-wheeler.
So your question is, you want to lower it to 45 on all the county roads just during solar time, or what do you want to do?
On the solar road.
We don't know. We're just talking.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't.
What I'm thinking of, we got the school buses that go down to 45, that's going to adjust their time schedules too. So you got all that. The solar roads, I don't have a problem with that, especially if it's a loaded gravel truck with 60, 70,000 pounds. I think that's a loaded bullet going down the road. So if you want to lower those to 45, I don't have a problem doing that. And it'll be easy to enforce, but you're going to have to get the signs. You know, you have to do that, so.
Say that again, Chris. You said you don't have a problem doing what?
At 45 mile an hour zone, if it's a loaded solar truck with gravel. Is that what you're talking about, or just solar trucks?
Thanks.
We're just talking.
But it's gotta be for every.
Cars are still 55 and everything, just talking solar. Yeah,
For so many accidents, I was going to say so many accidents, I don't know.
but what about a guy?
I know.
Excavating company that's just, it gets hard for us to enforce.
Oh.
because We've stopped,
Uh-huh.
we've stopped vehicles saying, I'm just hauling gravel for an excavating company, I'm not involved in solar. We've stopped a handful of those. It just becomes really hard to enforce, and we're stopping them, and we're getting some for stopping them.
There are counties that actually have 35 mile an hour on a lot of high traffic areas. Or just, yeah, 35 in a lot of counties. Especially if their pacer rating is high, because it goes pretty quick.
One other thing that possibly you could look at would be where the actual laydown yards possibly are. You know, like say, for instance, a simple one is between 4 and 5. Because when I sit out there, those laydown areas change. I sit on one stop sign and they change roads on me. I'll sit there for an hour. There's no trucks here. And they've changed it. It's a big can of worms. There's no one answers itself. It's, you know, just picking on them too. Yeah, and the parties have great in their vehicles too, so I don't know. That's my thoughts.
But we appreciate what we're asking.
Well, I will say that the stop signs that Gary has put up at 600 and 200 and 500 and 100 have made a huge difference in,
I sat there a couple days. I never had one person run.
yeah, that's really curbing it. So I don't know if that's an option in some of these areas where they're just flying, if we could add additional stop signs. I know they're expensive, but I don't know how you regulate this.
Well, I also believe that if it's put in our RUA, at least it's there.
Mhm.
And if it's put in the RUA and the sheriff's department, it's written correctly, and we've given them permission to monitor this. So if they clock someone going higher than the RUA, they would notify VS, and then there was fine that would go to the developer.
Mhm.
Just It's like a regular violation of use of roads, road use agreements.
So the issue with doing that is normally for the sheriff to issue a ticket, he's gathering all the information, including the license plate. So unless the sheriff is able to grab photo evidence, well, is it your car's record? Do you have a camera in your car that records? So if you do capture, okay. So the only issue would be the photo evidence to verify that that vehicle is a solar truck. And it wasn't just any farm equipment or this truck or that truck. So that's the only issue that I foresee having external enforcement. But I think putting something in the RUA, providing that guidance is a starting point. And how it's enforced, we can figure out how we move forward, but at least slowing it down now is important. So is there a speed limit that you would like to see out there to be included in the RUA so we can get that paperwork and discussion started?
Talking the county roads.
Correct.
I would say.
I agree. I mean, I drive a truck. I go down.
Fast.
40. I know some counties have 35, but have you had to write anything with other solar companies?
We have not. So the ones we had prior had it already built into their RUA as to what the signs.
What speed limit are they using?
Now this is a lot smaller and not next to, they are next to the highway. So it's 20 miles per hour where they just pull right in. With this having a longer haul route from the laydown yard up to 14, I would understand. I would say a higher speed limit would be understandable.
So I think we're in agreement to 40 mile an hour, what I heard.
Okay, I will run this by the developer, and as long as they are in concurrence, we will get this process.
That be brought to us for our approval then? Or,
Yeah, any modification like that would need to get your approval as well.
Okay.
I think that covers.
Tim, can I ask, have you had any more issues with trespassing by solar developers?
Not that we had an issue. There was an issue that the solar company was working on the wrong property on 2 occurrences, and the developer has worked with that property owner. Whether that's with legal counsel or not, that's beyond where we're at, but they have worked and rectified those issues.
And one other one, and I'm going to ask Fred or Chris, I talked to Fred about it. We had talked about extra patrolling out in the areas.
Thank
And
you.
if I talked to, maybe you know as much as Fred does on it, but Fred, do you mind speaking with how how the department is going to handle that?
He knows more, and I will say that the developer is open and they're going to be looking and utilizing this.
Okay, thank you.
So
I've had questions from the public, so
What
whatever.
what I
you
understand is the sheriff has reached out to Extra Duty Solutions, signed a contract with them. What they do is they have money coming in from the companies to provide security.
Step up to the,
Can you hear me?
I can, but I don't know that they can. Can you, I
Okay.
know we have some hearing impaired.
That's
out
fine.
here.
So the sheriff's department was contacted by Extra Duty Solutions, and on behalf of the different solar companies, they're going to put money together to provide off-duty security details in these areas. The Extra Duty Solutions will provide a schedule for us to work. So we're going to be working after hours. It's not nothing to belong with the county. It's not during our county time. It's all off-duty. And if we cannot cover it from our sheriff's office, they're going to offer it to us first. And if we can't cover that, they're going to reach out to Jasper County, White County, other officers who sign up through Extra Duty Solutions. And at the time after we're done working these different details, they'll provide us a 1099 that we would have to pay taxes.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with the county funds. It's all provided through the different solar companies and asking for extra help at that point. The sheriff has signed a contract with them, and the contract has special details that he can explain more if he'd like. But it'll also cover the use of vehicles where the county will get money back. Even if it's not a county officer from Pulaski County working, they will then pay a fee that we're out there using vehicles to enforce these different ordinances.
Anybody have any questions on that? Because I know there's been a lot of discussion about patrolling. We're good? Does that suffice?
So does the extra duty, does that reimburse officers' department with any wear and tear?
Contract I signed pays the officers directly, and I worked out an agreement with them, which I won't share the amount. The county will get so much when they use their vehicle. I'll let them use their vehicles. If it's a county officer coming from another county, they'll come in and all the vehicles set aside for them to use. It's very lucrative with the county to use the vehicle, fuel, insurance, plates, and that sort of thing. So the county will be making money when another officer comes in if our officer can't cover all the shifts. But they'll pay the officers directly. They handle the scheduling. The only one that's really stepped up so far is Mammoth. The other companies I assume will. I talked to Jenny Monroe today. She said she'd reach out to the other companies because I thought it was kind of unfair that only Mammoth was paying the officers so far. You got other ones. I forget the other companies. We need to reach out to them. Say, hey, you need to pay these officers too. So, and I keep calling security. They're going to work the roads. You know, I'm down to 10 officers. One's in the military and the other one we're just trying to replace. So they're going to be working the road, sitting on stop signs, anything that goes on, they're going to be handling. So rather than just me sitting out there, or Fred sitting out there. So
That's
Okay.
the same app they use for transports like
yes,
solar.
I've been working on this for a couple months. Extra duty solutions. It keeps me out of the mix. It pays them a very lucrative way to go out there and work the fields.
It pays them directly.
Pays
So
them
it's
directly. It schedules them
benefit.
directly. We can if they come from South Bend, they'll drive their own vehicle down here, hop in one of our cars and go out there.
Chris, is that evenings too, or what are
Days
the
and
hours of
evenings,
that?
I forget what Jenny, there's just a couple days set up right now, but we're trying to do it during the hours when the trucks are running right now.
Okay,
So they're doing all the scheduling. Extra Duty
Okay.
Solutions is doing.
Other counties are doing this, let's say Jasper County,
Yeah.
maybe 24 hours.
Okay.
Depends on the schedule that they put out, because I'm on the overflow of Jasper County.
Mhm.
So if they would need help, then we go to Vermont, pick up a car, use their car, and then provide the service. But we provide 24-hour service on different days of what they have to do, because of their schedules.
okay. Thank you.
He's worked it, I
appreciate that.
haven't. I leave it up to the deputies' work. It's money for them.
Will you take a question?
I'm sorry, you probably said this, I missed it, but does Pulaski County pay the officer?
Extra Duty Solutions, a company will pay Extra Duty Solutions. Extra Duty Solutions keeps a portion of that, and then they pay the officers directly.
Solar pays Extra Duty Solutions first, then it's dispersed.
And then they'll pay the county for the use of that vehicle. Yes, it doesn't come through us. Nope, I don't see any of that money.
Thank you.
Thank you very
questions?
much.
Okay.
So the sheriff brought up a good point that I forgot to touch on, the other projects. There is more than just one happening. So Mayapple, we've been in conversation with them. And so they aren't planning on starting anything until they did their pre-construction work this last 2 weeks. They have now demobilized and they are done. They've gotten what they've needed. And so they don't plan to come back out until this fall, where they're going to start some tree clearing, but they're not going to start their operations until the following spring. That is the schedule today. So with that said, the question then arises, there are 8 road sections that are shared between them and Mammoth. We are getting ahead of that now and coordinating with both parties on how we're going to, number one, track repairs, because who's going to be liable to make the repairs to one specific road? Number two, how are we going to be utilizing these roads and just getting the conversation started? A lot of this is going to be dependent on where Mammoth is at on their schedule in a year. So I say a year, I think it's probably more April, so 11 months now. So we're starting the conversation now, and we're going to be bringing both developers to the table so that we can get this worked out and we can hold the correct party accountable for any action.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Jacob, are you part of those discussions as well?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
We will. Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Tying into your report, Gary had brought up an item about additional stop signs.
Yes, we was going to, and I failed to get on the agenda, but Jenny had brought up the stop signs that we have installed, making two-way stops to four-way. And we also had talked about making a three-way stop on 450 west and 300 north. I do have the signs, I went ahead and ordered the signs to make that a new three-way. Right now, it's not being highly used, but the anticipation coming will be more traffic. So I wanted to bring it into commissioners meeting that, for that, and then it can be advertised, and then we can put up the new three-way stop at 450 west and 300 north.
Do you already have the sign, Gary?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. Good.
We could get ahead of that. You had just said, Gary, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah, well, I want to make sure
Yeah.
that it's the advertisement and everything.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the commissioners? This time, if there's any public comment, we ask that you please come to the mic, provide your name and residence. Limit your comments to approximately 2 minutes, and we ask that you only speak once.
My name is Connie Ehrlich. I have a home here in Winnemac at 217 West, 100 North, Winnemac. And my comments are kind of coincide with the report that Tim just gave you from VS. Mammoth Solar is in breach of the Economic Development Agreement and the Road Use Agreement. You have no other choice but to issue a work stoppage or pull the building permit for Mammoth South and Mammoth Central until Mammoth is in compliance with the agreements. Mammoth has also breached the EDA in several areas. One area is the guarantee of the economic development payments. Stark Solar LLC is guaranteeing themselves. That gives Pulaski County absolutely no assurance. Secondly, that guarantee was never signed. The guarantee must be signed and submitted to the county 90 days prior to the start of construction. This did not happen. This still has not happened. The building permit must be pulled. Mammoth is also in breach of the road use agreement. Mammoth started construction prior to receiving authorization from the county. Mammoth failed to improve or prepare the roads for the vast volume of the heavy truckloads prior to construction. Mammoth also failed to post the required signage. You have heard multiple complaints from the community about the solar vehicles using non-solar roads, damage to the roads, and the constant highway moving violations. We must hold Mammoth accountable. The road use agreement wasn't even properly approved. In November of 22, Commissioners Mellon, Lomer, and McClure signed an incomplete road use agreement. The exhibits were all blank. The commissioners were negligent and reckless to sign this incomplete agreement. In a recent Facebook post, it stated that the road use map was approved for Mammoth Central project. This approval did not occur during a public meeting, which it must be done. And I think the only way that you could bypass, bringing this up in a public meeting if it was an emergency. This clearly does not meet the definition of emergency. You heard tonight about the disaster that Stark County is now facing with Mammoth Solar defaulting on their payments for repairing the road damages. that they caused in Stark County. Pulaski County will be in a far worse situation if Mammoth is allowed to continue construction. You have no choice. You must issue a work stoppage. Issuing violations to Mammoth for $14,000 or $18,000 means nothing to the developer. They are racing against the clock. It has not stopped them from breaking the rules. Mammoth continues to trespass, ignoring the 150-foot setback requirement, operating vehicles on non-solar routes while ignoring highway rules, among many other violations. Mammoth could probably threaten you with litigation as a scare tactic, but you have an obligation to protect the county. The EDA and the UDO are very clear that if a developer has breached even one of these agreements, the county has the full authority to issue the work stoppage order. Commissioner Street and McClure, you cannot continue to look the other way and hope that everything's going to work out. You have the responsibility to the citizens of Pulaski County. The community deserves better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any others?
Joe Moyer, Star City, Indiana. I just wish to bring up the issue of transparency. A lot of this road use agreement is lack of transparency, and I know you inherited most of the mess, Don. As far as the road use agreements and the like, but there was a lack of transparency.
Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Yeah, Ken Boswell, 860 East, 700 North. Yeah, I was a 4-year commissioner, a 8-year council member, president for 6 of them, 8 years. And I hear a lot of conversation today about solar, and rightfully so. It's a big thing happening in our county, and there's a lot of moving parts. But one thing that I want to challenge the commissioners is to remember there's not only solar going on in Pulaski County. We're losing about $500,000 worth of revenue coming into the county through tax changes, regulations that were changed this year. So we're gonna have to look at how are we going to cut that? One option is to raise income tax, local income tax. I hope that the council does not find that as a viable way of increasing revenue in the county. But the commissioners play a very big role as being a council member and going through budget hearings. You have the largest budget. Well, almost the largest budget. And, there's a lot of things you guys are going to need to look at this year to work with the council. And I hope you put as much time, and I'm sure you will, into looking for them ways to save the taxpayers' money as we have in discussion today on solar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Judge?
Just so you're aware, for obvious reasons, I have blocked cell phones, right? And so I have been in contact with level 365 because you can't make a phone call with a blocked call to any of the county offices. So when I was on vacation, calling from my private cell, which is all I needed to have because I had a senior judge who was filling in, which is what we get instead of vacation days. I couldn't call a county office because I'm blocked at Verizon. And so level 365 has been working on that for a week now, and I don't believe has resolved that in any way. I appreciate Teresa letting us know that if you have a level 365 phone and you work for the county and you're calling from a county phone, 611 will get you right to 365. I appreciate knowing that. Teresa's been really, really helpful. So I just thought you ought to know if we're talking about contracts with 365 again, it is an issue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have you, Teresa, talked about 360?
Yes, and my main thing was so that Mary was in the loop, I gave her the phone number, so, but she has CC'd me on the emails with them, so I'm getting an email, she does, and yeah, that got something today saying that they're still working on it. They're not sure what's going on with it,
How long have we had 365? How long's the county been with that? Do you know, Mary?
We had it before we moved, so going on 3 years.
Okay. Under,
Which one?
okay.
Thank
Is
you.
this the first problem or you've had other issues with it?
We've had issues, but they've worked with us on most of them. You know, it's
Okay.
the little stuff.
Okay.
Thank you for making us aware of that. Any other comments?
Ross Davis of Beaver Township. I just want to reiterate kind of what Connie said about a stop workage. I mean, I've seen from my kitchen table, like blatant disregard of the little road usage agreements that we have. And then even with staying in communication with BS, and it doesn't matter. Like you said, like these small fines doesn't matter. So we need to do something to protect what needs protected, what the road use agreement is to protect. And if these fines aren't going to do it, it's time to take the next step. So, but to this morning, like I didn't work today and I saw there was 3 or 4 semis, a couple 150 trucks, and the 150 trucks blazing down our road. I can't clock it, but it's a gravel road. I think how that works is I think all gravel roads are like a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. It's kind of like a blanket state, but going way faster than that. So I am a small part of our county, but I'm not the only one being affected. Like you, I know a lot of other people that are having instances with these people, and it is dangerous. I tried to turn on my road the other day. I was pulling a trailer, and one of the 150 trucks pulls right out in front of me, turning left and right, and I have the right of way. He has a stop sign, I don't, and he just pulls out in front of me and gives me the 2-finger salute. I'm like, someone's gonna get hurt. So, like, let's hold them accountable. We have the tools to do it, and we're only using some of them.
Thank you.
Other public comments? We have a motion.
I'll second the motion.
We have a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Thank you. Jacob?
That's for sure, Mike.
It wasn't, I didn't get it from
I'm gonna go up there.